Hello IT Pros and welcome back to my IT workshop. This is Alvendril, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a script using Python, of course, to connect to a Cisco device. In this case it's going to be a switch, but I have also tested on a router. Well, on routers. Alright, the first thing we're going to need is, as you can imagine, Python. If you don't have Python installed, you have to go to this website and python.org. Any link I talk about or I show you in this video is going to be in the video description below, okay? So you come here to downloads and you just click here, download for Windows. Not again, I'm using Windows 10 for this, but this can also be done in Windows 8 or Windows 7. So the latest version of Python as of today is version 3.8.3. So you click on this, it's around 25 megabytes. You can imagine I already have it. I already have it installed, but installer, it's here. Maybe you have it installed, but you have to verify this. So you double click on it and you can see here, install Python 3.8.3. If I'm not mistaken, the library we need is Netmiko, and it works on all version 3. So I tested in version 3.5 and it works well, okay? So here, and you install it, but you have to click this, add Python 3.8 to path. And if maybe you haven't installed, but if you haven't done this, you most likely won't be able to download the library, which is Netmiko. And there is a way to add it even if you have Python installed, but in my opinion it's too much of a problem. So I just decided, well, not decided, I would just rather to uninstall it and install Python again. So this has to be selected, okay? Don't forget this has to be selected, and then you click install. And I'm going to cancel it because of course I already have it installed on my computer. So the next step is when you have it installed with the path box checked, you open a CMD, and from here you have to download the Netmiko library. So in order to do that, you have to type pip3 install -u Netmiko, and you press enter, and the library is going to be downloaded to you. If you press enter and it tells you that the command is not recognizable, that means you don't have Python added to your path. Remember that check when we were installing it, you have to check on that. Okay, well, you have to check that box. All right, the other option is, this is the one that worked for me, but this is another that it's supposed to work as well. Install Netmiko, and you press enter and it's going to install. The installation lasts less than 15 seconds, so it's pretty quick, and it's just going to tell you Netmiko has been installed. That's it. Then you have it installed. So the next step is I'm going to show you that I have ping with my switch 192.168.1.110. So I have ping with it. So now I'm going to connect using SSH, okay? Of course, the video is about connecting to a Cisco device using SSH. I'm going to do one in the future for Telnet, so that way you can do it. But as you know, Telnet is not secure, SSH is secure. So now I'm going to do the same, and it's going to ask me for my password. So I just type it, and there you go. My switch is called my IT workshop #1. So I'm going to enable it, and the password is not the same for security reasons. And now I have this switch. I just want to show you the version. Enter, and this is the model of the switch. So it's a Cisco Catalyst 2960. 48 ports, and you can see there the iOS version. So I have done a video in the past on how to upgrade switches, Cisco switches. If you want to know how to do that, you can click on the top right of this screen. So now these switches I have these switches at home because I used them when I was studying for my Cisco certification. You can also that's why I have them. I don't have many things connected to them, so I'm going to show you. So IP interface brief, and as you can see, the only port active is port #1, which is connected to my home router, okay, to my service provider. And as you can see, everything else is down. And you can also notice that this over here, are administratively down. That means I went to the actual port and shut it down. I type shut down, so that's why you can see them. If you connect something to this, it's not going to work. However, if you connect something to this, it's going to work, even though it says down, but it's not administratively down. Okay, so it's from port 15 to 20. We're going to use that information in a few more minutes. And this one uses gigabit Ethernet, and this is the format that the ports are used. Okay, some later switches, some newer switches use 10 Ethernet, 10 gigabit, right? So I just want to keep that in mind. Okay, so I show you that this is a real switch, it's not emulated. If you hear some noise, it's the fan spinning because I have it really close to me, so I'm sorry for that. So I'm just going to exit the switch, and there we go. So the next step is going to be to open Python. I have it here. If you are noticing that the background is different, it's because I change it to a darker color because I don't like very bright colors. Just because I just don't like it, but this is how it looks for me. So now I'm going to click edit, new file, and it's going to show like this. But I already have one open and created. This one over here. As you can see here, it doesn't have anything. I just rename it. I just name it Automate 1. So it's ready. So now that you have Python installed, then you have the Netmiko library downloaded, like as I showed you a few minutes ago. So now we are going to start coding. So now I'm going to type from, well, I don't like it that way, from Netmiko, that's the library. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting this. Netmiko is a library created by Kirk Byers. He's CCIE, so kind of the higher tier in Cisco network certifications. And I'm going to, Netmiko is a big library. I don't know all about Netmiko. I just know the things that I need and the things that are useful to me for Cisco, because where I work, we use Cisco, everything is Cisco. But I haven't checked, but I know according to the documentation that you can also use Netmiko for Aruba, which is HP, Dell switches or routers. What is this other? Juniper. That's what that comes to my mind right now. Okay, so you can use it with those as well. But for me, it's just Cisco. All right. So I'm going to leave the link in the description for all the documentation so you can read further if you're interested. So from Netmiko, import connect handler. So I'm saying that from the library Netmiko, import this, what would it be called? A function? I think it's a function. I don't know exactly, I don't remember the name right now, what it's called, but you are calling a subpart, a component of the big Netmiko library for this, all right? You can also call all the library as well. You can type in import Netmiko, but this is, in my opinion, better. So now I'm going to define a variable, network device. This can be anything. You can name it B, you can name it my switch, my router, whatever you want. Okay, so it needs to be a dictionary. So we're going to create a dictionary with the keys and keys and values. So the first one is going to be host, no Jost, host, which is my IP address, 192 that I show you. This also works, by the way, with the DNS name. In my case, I'm going to use just the IP address. Then we're going to go to the second, which is username. And my username, as you have seen, is Salvendrill, like the name I use in this channel. Then comma, oh, I made a mistake here. This has to be like that, and comma. So next is going to be the password, and the password is going to be this one, Academy 45 exclamation. Then I'm missing a comma. Next one is going to be device type. In this case, no, making a mistake. In this case is Cisco iOS, comma. And the last one is not the last one we need. I'm going to explain in a few seconds. And the secret for the password to go to the global configuration in the switch or router, for me, it's this one. Exclamation can be the same as the one above, like Academy 45, but for security, you know, we're using SSH, and for security, I'm using different passwords. Okay, by the way, these two passwords, I create them for my switch. I don't use them in any account on the internet, so I just want to make that clear. Now, the important part, all these guys, all these keys in the dictionary, host, username, password, device type, secret, you cannot change them. It has to be like this, okay? All this, the IP address or DNS name, the username, the password, oh, this is a mistake, Cisco iOS, like that. I believe here you can type Juniper, Dell, Aruba, or any other brand that is supported by the library, and the secret password, this can be changed. But this over here, this cannot be changed. If you change it, I have tested, if you change this by just, let's say instead of password, you just type pass, it's going to give you an error, okay? So these keys, they cannot change, all right? So now, the next step is I'm going to define another variable, connect, this is Netmiko 100%, and star network device. So what I'm doing here is I am unpacking the dictionary. If this is very confusing, I made an example. I have an online compiler, again, link in the description below. I created a dictionary, simple dictionary I call it, with two keys, x and y, and x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 3. So I define a function which is subtraction. So you imagine what's going to happen. We're going to subtract x from y. Okay, so 10 minus 3. So here's the interesting part. I'm going to call the function. I'm using the same as you have seen in the script, and simple dictionary. So I'm calling and I am unpacking the dictionary. All right, so I'm just going to run it, and the result, as you can imagine, it's 7. So I'm going to change this very quick for you to see, and it's going to be 13. So I just want to show you how it works, what I'm doing. All right, so with that on the side, this is the variable I created, and this is the Netmiko 100%. Okay, so next, these two are not related, by the way. These are not the same. I just chose to call it connect because it's general. So now I'm going to connect. This is the variable enable. Okay, so this guy over here should be this guy over here, enable. Until here, technically we have done it. So to save it, if you don't know, you have to save it always. Run module, save it, yes. So let me bring it to this screen. We wait a few seconds, and it's working. I know it doesn't show anything. How come it's working? I'm going to show you, but I know I don't have any error. I know it's working. So now, this part over here is what you need to connect to any Cisco device. Well, I better not say any. Routers, switches. I haven't tried on firewalls, but it's supposed to work, okay? That's what you need. Now we're going to code whatever we may like. Well, this part is kind of whatever, whatever we want, but by the way, these are not the only keys. You can have more, but I don't need them for this example. Now I'm just going to define another variable that is command. You know what? Better, I'm going to name it another thing. I'm going just to name it to send, right? So it doesn't confuse if you are watching. So the command I want to send, better to issue. To issue is better. Command to issue. The command I want to issue is going to be show VLAN brief, right? So this is a Cisco command. And now I'm going to print it. Print, and this is the interesting part, connect that send the underscore command and this guy over here to issue. All right, you can actually type this guy instead of to issue, but I'm just doing it in order. So now we're going to save it, Control S, and we are going to run it. and we're going to see if we have an error. So we're waiting. Let's wait, and it's telling me that I have an error. Attribute error, Cisco iOS. What did I type there? Device type, Cisco iOS. That's correct. Why is it giving me an error? Oh, command. Maybe this is the error. Command, set command to issue. Okay, run module again. Let's see if it works this time. We wait a few seconds until it tries to connect to the switch, and there you go. We have seen the result here. We can see all the VLANs that we have. The VLAN 1 is by default, and I created these two VLANs for you to see. So VLAN 50 and VLAN 100. As you can see, VLAN 50 has port gigabit 22. So that's good, and VLAN 100 has the reds. It's just an example, so you know it's working. So I can close this, and that's how you connect to a switch. But we're going to do something more interesting. Now, I'm going to comment this because I don't need them for now. I'm going to leave this, and we are going to replace the show VLAN brief. So we're going to go for a few ports. What if you want to see the state of a port? Is it up? Is it down? What's going on? So we're going to do that. For that, I'm going to declare this variable first port, and that's going to be 10. You can choose anything that you may like, but in this case, the first port I want to check is 10, and the last port is going to be 20. All right. So now I'm going to say, I'm going to use a for loop for port in range, and my range is going to be the first port. Over here, I'm just going to copy paste it so it's easier, and my end range is going to be last port. But if you know Python, you know I have to add 1. Why is that? Because the way the range function works is that it's going to take the first port, which is 10, but the last port is not going to be 20. It's going to be 20 minus 1. Okay, so it's going to be 19. That's the way Python works. So that way I'm adding 1. So it's going to go until port 20. All right, so enter, and we're going to print something here. So the print is going to be technically the same as here. Well, actually, I'm going to copy all this. That's way easier than what I'm doing. So print to issue, but what we need to change this is the command to check the ports. So what's the command? Well, there are many combinations, but the one I'm going to use is show IP interface. And remember, in the switch, it follows this. So I'm going to copy this, all right? Paste interface gigabit, but I don't want 38. I'm just going to leave it like this. And now what we are going to do here, because we have replaced the command for to issue, and here is where we are going to do some, I'm not going to say magic, but some interesting thing. So I'm going to add, the port, but it's going to give me an error because this one is an integer, and you can only concatenate strings. So str. If you do it without str, it's going to give you an error. You cannot concatenate integers. Okay, no problem. So we're going to turn it into a string. We're going to turn it into a string. So we have that, and we don't need this. We don't need that. And we should get the state of all the ports between 10 and 20. Let's see if that works and if I have done it correctly. So run module, you want to save it? Yes. So let's see what happens now. We wait. Invalid marker. Why is giving us invalid marker? So there is something there. It's going to repeat it for 10 times. Now, gigabit, show IP interface, gigabit Ethernet. Maybe if we come here, how did we do it? I believe there has to be a space here. So to issue plus that, let's put it this way. Let's see what happens. Run, and let's see if it works this time. So we wait, and you can see it's working. So we have the result from, we are getting the result automatically from port number 10 to 20. So you can see it's down, and from 15, as if you remember, they are administratively down until 20. So we can check that. So we can automate that kind of things instead of checking port by port or all that. And the next thing you have to do is to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. So that's how you can connect to a Cisco, in this case it's a Cisco device. Again, I have tested in a router, it works with no problems, a Cisco router. Okay, so that's how you can connect. In the next video, I'm going to do for 2 switches, or can I get the other switch? I'm not sure if I can get another switch, but if not, I'm going to do more commands. We're going to do kind of a menu if you want to use this command at work and all that, and share it with other people. All right. So with that, in this video, I have shown you how to connect to a Cisco router switch using Python. But we are using also the Netmiko library. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other comment or questions, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.